Snow Trails TV begins a week of feature riding in Washington State's Cascade Mountains. We are snowmobiling in Washington State, invited by the Washington State Snowmobile Association to familiarize you with new recreational opportunities you may not have known about. Snowmobiling is becoming a very popular vacation option. Often, Sno Trails TV is using rental sleds from the local area. Rentals could be an option for you. If this looks like fun, just about any snowmobile club would take you out for your first guided snowmobile ride.
Hey, I'm Video Mike and welcome to Sno Trails TV. We're in Washington State. I'm at Crystal Springs Sno-Park. It's a different type of riding out here than what you're used to seeing in Quebec or Michigan or some of the trail areas. We're going to go ride out in the mountains today.
Basically, we're right here at Crystal Springs. We're going to start off, we're just going to go out a little bit, take a right, head up towards Lost Lake. Cross up here, there's one quick avalanche chute here we're going to shoot through. It should be okay today, and up around, and we'll get a pretty good view from up on top.
Hey, well, let's go have some fun here in Washington State at Crystal Falls on Sno Trails TV. Crystal Springs.
Crystal Springs is just one of the over 80 snow parks in Washington State dedicated for snowmobiling.
Snowmobiling in Washington State, there's lots of different varieties from big mountains, little mountains, lots of trail riding, lots of off the trail riding for the expert to the novice.
I've been snowmobiling in Washington since 1986. If I wanted to see my husband on the weekend, I needed to learn how to ride a snowmobile. It's different every year, it's different with the snow conditions. Each snowmobile that comes out presents different challenges to learn how to ride, but it's all up to the rider. I like to explain to my friends that snowmobiling can be like your own personal roller coaster ride.
My riding started in 1970, bought my first sled. From there we went to more modern, better sleds. Basically, snowmobiling is one of those items where you take your family. I'm very family involved. I give these people a bad time all the time, but it's family involvement.
Well, there's not a lot of recreational opportunities when you live in a rural area in the mountains in the wintertime, so it's a chance to get outdoors, see wildlife.
Crystal Springs Sno-Park is the largest snow park in the state of Washington. It's got a pretty good percentage of the groomed trail system that's, equivalent to, I would say, at least the top 5 in the state as far as groomed trails that are surrounding it. I've been riding up here for, like I said, 38 years, so within about 20 minutes I can be away from the crowd and not see a sled the rest of the day, no matter how crowded it is in the parking lot. So that's what I like about it.
Bad experiences happen very, very little. I mean, I've been riding for 31 years and never really been in a real dangerous situation. There's some precaution. You have to use your head once in a while.
Less than 10 miles down the trail and through a few switchbacks and up a little steep climbing, we're here on top of this peak looking over Lost Lake now. We rode way down on that road earlier. It's a beautiful view up here. Crystal Springs, we're having a lot of fun here. It's not the best conditions. Snowmobiling isn't always, it's a little icy. We've had some rain, but it's a beautiful day here, and any good day of snowmobiling is better than no day of snowmobiling. Let's get back into the trails and explore more of Crystal Springs here in Washington State.
We had a shooting schedule and Mother Nature was not being kind to us. There was a mix of rain, freezing rain, with a hard crust on the snow. Not ideal conditions.
The first morning of snowmobiling here in Crystal Springs Sno-Park. Excellent morning, a little misty, not the perfect weather, but we're having fun snowmobiling. It was a nice 10 miles up to the top of the peak, 10 miles back. We're going to have a hot lunch here, get back out and do some riding in the afternoon.
There's a program, Take a Friend Snowmobiling Out, that in fact I brought up with our association. We're doing what we call a newbie ride, and people at the snow show put their names in if they've never been snowmobiling, and we actually draw names out of a hat and take them out, furnish them snowmobiles, furnish them gear, I usually guide for these people, and they have a great time. Okay, this is an example of when the snow was a lot better than it is and more snow. We take our shortcuts right up through these kinds of hills, up through the trees, and up and over the top, and get to the roads that we're going to be tying into on the top side when we get there. But these roads are just nothing more than jumping off spots to take our shortcuts up and over and do boondocking.
This is mountain riding, and everyone in the group thinks about safety first. An avalanche beacon must be worn by each individual. Often the groomed trails are really just here to get you to a different place on the mountain to backcountry ride. A long day of riding in the mountains may only be 40 or 50 miles at most.
Just making a little trail around the...
Well, occasionally when you're mountain riding and the weather comes in, come across the trail that you're used to going on, and you come across a tree that's a little too big than your hand tree saws you're carrying, so you have to reroute. So this is our reroute around the tree. Next weekend I'll bring a little chainsaw on the back of my sled and cut that tree out of the way, and it'll be a trail again.
Sleds have changed a lot in the last few years. You can go a lot more places you couldn't go before. They're a lot quieter, easier to ride, and I think they're better off for the sport. You know, all around, it's a lot easier for anybody to be involved to ride a sled now than it used to be.
Well, I built a cabin in '87, 2 ridges over behind my left shoulder that overlooks Lake Leellum, and the last half mile that was the only way to get in. So I went and bought a cheap snowmobile just to get in, and fell in love with it, and pretty soon that was the reason to come over.
This logjam slowed things down a bit, but it's really amazing the places one can go and the spectacular sights Mother Nature offers us. It's a different experience every time, even in the same places.
I'm also a new member of the Kittitas County Snowmobile Search and Rescue Team. I've just completed the training. Call-outs per year, sometimes it's only a handful, 8 or 10 call-outs, sometimes it'll be 25 or 30.
I started when about 5 with a little kitty cat, and then moved up to a 120 Polaris, and then I just slowly worked my way up from there to a 340, then a 550, and then to 600.
All right, it's getting later in the day, and the freezing rain is coming back. Really playing problems with the lens here. You know, we don't want to really do spot TV and do all this beautiful scenery here in Washington injustice. But take a little look around. You can just imagine on a clear blue sky day what it's like up here. And I just think it looks like pure God's country, even on a day like this. We're having a great time, and it's a wonderful experience here. I don't think we're going to be able to shoot too much. The sun's going down, real cloudy, and it's rainy, but stick around. We'll be up here for the rest of the week. Well, Jim, we had a good time. Thanks for taking us out today.
It was a great time.
Now, this, you say, is one of the bigger snow parks.
This is the biggest snow park in the state of Washington as far as actual places to park vehicles and ride out of.
I could see if the weather hadn't done what it did to us today, we just have a fantastic time in the backcountry.
If we had fresh powder and no ice and visibility, you guys would have had the ride of your life.
Well, we didn't have fresh powder, we didn't have visibility, and we had lots of ice, but we still had one heck of a good time. Can you so we're going to be doing this here for the rest of the week. You're working with us tomorrow again?
I am. Yep, next 2 days.
Excellent. All right, Video Mike for Snow Trails TV here in Washington State, and it's beautiful riding. It's way different than the Eastern Trail riding that, you know, where I come from, but we'll be back tomorrow on Snow Trails TV.
You're watching Snow Trails.